Welcome to 2021 Wildcat Families. We're here at B. Gal Wilson. We're sure many of you recognize our distribution drop-off with our socially distanced X's. We're out here just to make sure everybody's aware that if you need to come to campus to pick up any materials, we know that some of our history books still need to be distributed. This is where we're going to pick them up. We're going to stand 6 feet apart, making sure we have our masks on. And we're all waiting for Mr. Glenn after 12:45 to pass out materials that we still need to pick up. Most students have already picked up their materials. Mr. Nelson, how many do we have left?
So for 6th, 7th, and 8th, we have like less than 10 students per grade level that haven't picked up their books. So they just have to go and see Mr. Glenn as soon as possible.
And then in the next couple of weeks, we will put out something about history textbooks for our middle schoolers as well. We know that that is still yet to come. If you have an issue with your Chromebook, we are going to ask that you fill out the form first. Then we'll set up an appointment with figuring out what's wrong with the Chromebook, and we'll find time for you to come here, drop off the broken Chromebook, and we'll get you a replacement. But we do have to fill out that form first. As you make your way to our front office, you will notice that there are signs here asking you to stop and conduct a self-screener. We ask that before entering our facility, you check yourself for cough, shortness of breath, sore throat, loss of taste and smell, a fever over 100.4 or higher, and if you've been in contact with anybody who's tested positive for COVID-19, or anybody who has been quarantined for COVID-19, that you do not enter our facility so that we can keep our staff and all of our families safe. We will work with you to provide you the support you need virtually if you fall into any of these categories.
So cuando llega a la escuela y quiere entrar a la oficina, tiene que hacer un self-screen para chequear todas las cosas. Y este es tos, falta de aliento, dolor de garganta, pérdida del sabor y olor, fiebre de 100.4 o más. Si tiene alguno de estos, no puede entrar, solamente tienes que llamar a la oficina para preguntar a Miss Caitlin o Miss Angelica o Miss Claudia para que tú necesitas.
As you enter the front office, please make sure that you stop at the red door.
Please do not come into this part of the office. No, no, no. Cuando llega aquí en la oficina, no puede entrar esta parte de la oficina. Tiene que quedar en la foyer.
Instead, you're actually going to turn to the left, to the window, to meet Miss Caitlin, Miss Angelica, Miss Claudia, or another member of our staff.
Once you've made your appointment, either via phone call or email, we will help you at this window.
Hey Wildcats! So we are back here on our field in front of our blacktop, and for 6th graders, hopefully we'll eventually get to the site, we're in front of what would be the 6th grade wing. So, as with all new things, change does not come easily, and adjusting to our new distance learning schedule has been another challenge. We wanted to make sure to address some of the common issues we had last week, just to make sure that we're able to support everybody and we're being very clear about what our students' day looks like. So the schedule for middle school is on Mondays and Thursdays, students attend live sessions 1st, 2nd, and 3rd period. On Tuesdays and Fridays, they attend 4th, 5th, and 6th period. In the afternoons on those days, students have time to work on their asynchronous work, or they may be pulled into a small group by their teacher if they're in need of an intervention or extension opportunity. Students who are pulled into that afternoon time, and again, this is that green time on the schedule, will receive an invitation from their teacher. On Wednesdays, students go to all 6 periods in the morning before lunch. The only exception to this is a Tuesday following a Monday holiday, which we have next week. Next week, we will have our Wednesday schedule with all 6 periods on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the block schedule will continue again on Thursday.
And for dual immersion, we have basically 2 different ways that teachers can do their teaching. The first way is they'll have their synchronous time, which could be like 30 minutes. And then there would be the asynchronous time where students would be doing their work based on what the teacher had already taught. Or we'll have the teacher do a longer period of synchronized teaching, and then in the afternoon, the students would be able to have their asynchronous time and work on those assignments.
We're so happy that today went much more smoothly than most of last week. We know, again, this is a routine. It's going to take practice. We're all going to be patient with each other, and eventually we will work it out. We did want to make sure to assure you that our priority is making certain our kids are in their live synchronous class sessions. So if you run into an issue, email Mr. Nelson and myself, call our front office at 421-4225. Let us know what assistance you need with troubleshooting, and we will do what we can to help you on the spot because we want our kids in class, we want them live, we want to see their faces, and we want them learning. So please, let us know how we can help you, reach out to us, and we will try to do it in an extremely timely manner.
And so now I'm going to talk about discipline, which I know there's not going to be a whole lot of, but just to be safe. So when teachers are teaching, they have set their rules, their expectations on what they want the students to do. For example, muting themselves when the teacher is talking. But for some reason, if a student doesn't do that and the teacher feels that he or she is being disruptive, the teacher's going to get in contact with the student and the parent. The teachers are going to follow the process that we would have normally if everyone was on campus. If that child happens to do it again, what they're going to do, or what we're going to do, is we will be making a phone call because the process has to continue. And then if it happens the 3rd time, I don't think it'll ever happen, but if it does, that teacher is going to go ahead and X them out of the Google Meet, which is sort of like a class suspension. But then Ms. Dinwiddie and I would make the phone calls home because we can't have a one-on-one in person with the student.
And families, please know we want to work with you. We want to work with the kids, and because we have school set up so distantly, we have to all be on the same page and part of the same team. So when we call to let you know something that's happening on campus and to report to you, please know this isn't us calling saying, hey, your child's in trouble. It's saying this occurred in class today. We've got to work together. We've got to make sure that everybody is able to learn. It's already challenging enough, and we want to find a way to troubleshoot to make sure all of our kids are able to learn every day. One other thing that is very different this year with distance learning than it was in the spring is the accountability. We listened, the state listened. We know that if we're going to have a system with distance learning, we have to also be able to hold students accountable in order to keep them engaged. So we are taking attendance every day, and students are being assigned work with due dates that will be graded. We need to make sure students are completing all the work assigned. This is how we're going to measure whether or not they are learning. This is how we're going to provide feedback that what we're teaching is actually engaging the students or not engaging the students. This is how we know whether or not the students are actually in school and not just logging on. So again, distance learning is about more than just showing up for the live meet. There are times set aside in the schedule every day that students are expected to complete work, and that work is for a grade. Please know that we're going to be tracking these grades, and we will start making phone calls sooner rather than later when we notice that students are not turning in all their work, or they're perhaps turning it in at a lower level than they're capable of. Again, we want to be communicating and working with our families to ensure that our students are being successful and to make up for some of the lost time from last March. So again, please make sure students are not just logging on, but they are also completing their work and asking for help when they need it.
And just as a reminder for all our dual immersion families, we have our back to school night starting tomorrow at 5 p.m. There will be a question and answer with Ms. Dinwiddie and myself. And then at 5:30, we will have starting our 2 sessions. Session 1 is TK through 2nd grade will be in Spanish. 3rd through 5th will be in English. And then at 6 p.m., it's going to switch. TK through 2 will be in English, and then 3rd through 5th will be in Spanish.
And in middle school, we're going to be sending out this pre-recorded video on Tuesday, the day before our scheduled back to school night. On Wednesday at 5 p.m., we do have a live Q&A with Mr. Nelson and myself. And then we also sent out a Google form to RSVP for those who are interested in joining us for the live breakout session starting at 5:30. We'll be emailing those scheduled to those who have RSVP'd. For everybody else, please watch the video, reach out to us if you have any questions, and we will be in touch. Again, welcome to 2021. It's going to be a great year.